The war began on February 28, 2026. The United States and Israel launched a massive coordinated military operation against Iran, codenamed Operation Roaring Lion by Israel and Operation Epic Fury by the United States. Within hours, explosions were heard across Tehran, Isfahan.com, Karaj, and Kermanshah. The strikes targeted Iran's nuclear facilities, ballistic missile storage sites, naval bases, and its senior leadership. By the following day, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was confirmed dead. The Middle East had entered one of the most dangerous chapters in its modern history. Iran did not wait. The same night the bombs fell, Tehran launched its response, Operation True Promise 4. Waves of drones and ballistic missiles began flying in every direction across the region. Iran struck Israel, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, the UAE, Oman, Iraq, and Jordan. Within 36 hours, every member of the Gulf Cooperation Council had been hit. International airports were targeted. Active seaports were struck. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain's Jubail district was hit multiple times. 2 ballistic missiles broke through Qatar's defenses and struck the Al Udeid Air Base, one of the largest American military installations in the entire Middle East. Even a British military base in Cyprus was not spared. Iran's Revolutionary Guard announced it had launched attacks on 27 American bases across the region. The death toll in Iran from the U.S.-Israeli strikes has now climbed past 1,000 people. At least 6 American soldiers have been killed. 11 people have died in Israel. 9 more have been killed across the Gulf states. One of the single deadliest incidents occurred when an airstrike hit an elementary girls' school in southern Iran, killing at least 165 children. Iran's state broadcaster building was destroyed. The historic Golestan Palace, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was damaged. The UN Secretary-General called the situation a grave threat to international peace, warning the world was being pulled toward a chain of events that no one could control. But here is where this war becomes something entirely different. Here is the detail that military analysts say changes everything. Iran's primary weapon in this conflict is a drone called the Shahed-136. It is a one-way attack drone, essentially a flying bomb guided to its target. It is not sophisticated. Sounds like a lawnmower engine in the sky. It is built from commercially available parts and can be assembled in small facilities with minimal infrastructure, and it costs between $20,000 and $50,000 to produce. On the other side of that equation stands the United States Patriot air defense system, specifically the PAC-3 interceptor missile, manufactured by Lockheed Martin. It is one of the most advanced missile defense systems on Earth. It has been intercepting over 90% of Iranian drones and ballistic missiles. It works, but each single PAC-3 interceptor costs approximately $4 million. A DOD interceptor used against more advanced ballistic threats costs $12 million each. Let that sink in for a moment. Iran spends $20,000. The United States spends $4 million. That is a ratio of 200 to 1. For every drone Iran launches, the Western alliance burns through resources worth 200 times more. Iran did not stumble upon this strategy. It was designed this way. Analysts describe it as asymmetric attrition warfare, and its logic is brutal in its simplicity. You do not need to win every engagement. You do not even need to destroy your target. You just need to force your enemy to keep shooting. Because every time they fire a $4 million interceptor at a $20,000 drone, the financial and logistical damage accumulates on their side, not yours. Iran deliberately mixes cheap Shahed drones together with more expensive ballistic missiles in the same attack waves. Radar systems cannot immediately tell the difference between an incoming drone and a ballistic missile. The safe decision, every time, is to fire an interceptor at every incoming object. There is no time to be selective when something is heading toward a military base or a civilian center at speed. So expensive interceptors get fired at cheap targets again and again, thousands of times. The numbers that have emerged from internal assessments are alarming. Lockheed Martin produced approximately 600 PAC-3 missiles in all of last year. Since this war began just days ago, analysts estimate that thousands of interceptors have already been fired across the region. Qatar's Patriot reserves, according to internal analysis, could last only about 4 days at the current rate of engagement. Doha has reportedly been urging all parties to find a swift end to hostilities. At current production rates, replacing 150 VOD interceptors alone would take over 12 years. The United States received just 12 new VOD rounds in the most recent fiscal year. Iran, by contrast, is believed to hold a far larger supply of Shahed drones. It can produce them at scale, quickly and quietly. Its factories do not need to manufacture something complex. They need a lawnmower engine, basic electronics, and explosives. Meanwhile, China is reportedly watching events closely, calculating what the draining of American missile stockpiles in the Middle East means for a potential future confrontation in the Pacific. Every interceptor fired over the Gulf is one fewer available for Taiwan. On the diplomatic front, there is near universal alarm. The UN Security Council met in emergency session. China's ambassador described the strikes as brazen and called for an immediate ceasefire. Russia warned that Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant was being threatened by ongoing airstrikes. The U.S. Senate is voting on whether to limit President Trump's ability to continue military action without congressional approval. Trump himself has said the conflict could last a month. His defense secretary says the operation is still in its early days. Iran's foreign minister told Qatar's prime minister that Tehran's strikes were aimed at American interests, not Gulf states themselves. But airports have been closed, ports have been disrupted. The Strait of Hormuz has been declared closed by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. 1/3 of the world's seaborne oil trade passes through that narrow waterway. Global markets have responded with fear. Asian stocks fell sharply. Oil prices are surging. The economic shockwave is spreading far beyond the region. This is the war of 2026. It is not being won with the most advanced fighter jet or the most precise guided bomb. It is being won or lost on a spreadsheet. The question is no longer who has the most powerful weapons. The question is who runs out first. Iran built this strategy knowing it could never match the United States in a straight military contest. So it chose a different battlefield, the economics of endurance. And right now, that battlefield is not looking favorable for the West. The world is watching. The stockpiles are draining. And the clock is ticking for everyone.